Hi, this is Zoe Tant, the Tantalising Stamper. Today I'm going to show you a fun, easy, quick fun fold using the Matchday stamp set and dies. So it's perfect for the World Cup coming up, perfect for any football fans in your family. So to start with, I've prepped quite a bit of my card. I have a piece of garden green that is a standard UK card base, and it's 14.8 by 21 centimetres. And then I have a piece of the DSP that matches, comes from this little mini suite that is, let me think, 7 by 14.3. I have 3 strips of this one, which are 2.5 centimetres by 14.3. Then I have a piece that is 10 by 14.3. So that's that one because it's going to be a background. This one is 7, I think, yeah, 7 by 11.3. And this one is 5 by... Ooh, let me just check. This one is 5 by, and this is just a piece of white card, 9.3. And then I've got some scratch piece of white for a little bit of stamping. I've already pre-cut some using the die, these 2 dies for some grass. I've got this cone die that I've used using pumpkin pie. I've cut a net using this one with just white card, and then I have Your Biggest Fan, goal, and the football stamps ready to go, and some Memento black ink. And you'll also want your trimmer, a bone folder, and some adhesive. So to get started, the first thing I'm going to do is do the scoring that I need to do. So I've got it in landscape. I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to go all the way across to 10.5 centimetres. And I'm not going to cut it. I'm scoring at 10.5. Then I'm bringing it back towards the right hand side to score at 7.5. So I've moved it 3 centimetres. Then 4.5, 1.5, and that's the scoring done. You can move your trimmer out of the way for the time being. Then what I want to do now is start to stick some of the embellishments on, i.e. the DSP, because that will be the easiest thing for me to do. So this smaller piece of black is going to go on the top end. I'm actually going to turn this card so it's landscape and not portrait. And it creates a little box that the card will effectively sit on. So I just put that one on there. Then these 3 pieces, you need to come down below the first score line, and we'll stick 1 strip. Wait a minute, I just have to get this right. So if I'm gonna, let's just make sure that I'm scoring these properly in the right direction. In fact, I want them to go that way. Don't I? That's that. So you want them well and truly scored, which these will be because I've done it both ways. That's it. And this will fold up like so. So we actually now want to flip it over before we put the DSP on. And we'll get one on there. Might be easier if I put the glue on here actually. Just got to make sure you don't go too wide, and then you want it to ooze. So. I put one on there. Now, if you're a bit OCD, you could cut your paper specifically to so that it flows, but you'll see once it's actually folded up, the continuity of the DSP isn't quite so important. There we are. And then these will come up and create a box that the card will then stand up on. So the next thing to do is put some glue on here on the same side as the paper, and that will in fact what I'm going to do is fold it in and then fold it up like that so that it ends up in exactly the right place, hopefully, for it to then just pop up like this. And when you post your card, you just flatten that down like that so that that's the same size as a standard card base. And when the person gets it, they will see that it stands up, and it's going to stand up like that with some decoration on here. And the way I'm doing that is I've got my net, which I use the die for, and on the back I'm going to put a thin slither of glue all the way down here. And I'm going to stick the grass on the back of it. Like that. I'm also going to stick some of the pieces from this die, and when you cut them you'll end up with some extra bits here, and you just snip them. So you can see this one here that I've got. So you'll just, oh, that one's gone all the way down, but that's going to have a little extra piece on there and there, like that. And you can just fold that over so you've got somewhere to glue it, because I think I'm going to add these. So I'll put some glue there and a little bit there so that they're more at the front but at the edges of the goal. So it looks like the grass is growing behind the goal. I can put that one on there and just hold it down while it adheres. And then another one here that I've prepped with a fold. So add that one up there. Whoop. Just, it's a little bit fiddly, but works quite nicely. And then we'll want these two for the other side, but this time I think I haven't got a lot to fold on that one the way I cut it, but I think it will be okay, because this side I will add my cones to the card when I pop it all onto the card itself. And then this is going to stick onto my card. I'll put plenty of glue on there to keep it all together, and then just little dots and dashes. You don't want too much else it's going to ooze out, so just push it along. And I'm going to put that there. So you'll want to hold on to it until it sticks. So just hold on to it for a couple of seconds. We can put that extra piece there. And then you'll see that the die cuts a little line, so it gives a bit of, you know, that sort of definition of the cone and then the base. But the nice thing about it is you can also stack them so that they look like they've been put tidily by the edge of the goal. The top just slides into the slit. And then to hold those in place, I've got a little bit of seal here. So I'm going to pull that down, hold them in place, and then just put this down the back carefully. Doesn't matter that they've gone a bit wonky, because let's face it, kids and football kit, they're not necessarily going to stamp them that straight, so it's quite nice they've got a bit more character if we do that. You can put those there by the side of the goal. And you don't want to stick this on with dimensionals, because when this folds you're going to book this piece up and you'll just make it too wide for general cheap and cheerful postage. So they're on there. Now the next thing I want to add, I'm going to just move these pieces out of the way. I'm going to fold that flat while I then use these pieces that I put together. So this will be my background. So this is where you'll be able to add any message to the recipient. So it's quite fun. It's got all the things that are connected with football. We're very big in the UK with football scarves and kit to match. Then we've got this piece that is the reverse of that one. So we can put that on there. And then this one is the piece that matches, but before I stick it, I'm just going to stamp it. So this one says your biggest fan. So I'm going to stamp that. Oops, I need a bit more ink. At the bottom. Because I'm then with a black pen, if I can find one. There we go. With my black pen, I'm going to say, with love on your birthday from your biggest fan. And that gives it a nice little personal touch. And then what we could do is we'll get a piece of scratch card, because I've cut my, can just pop a little bit of ball coming in there, and we'll add that. I've got my seal handy, so we'll do, and we can pop that there. Now the finishing touch will be to have a nice football on the front here. So again, we're going to get plenty of ink on this. Stamp it. And then reach for my dies, because there is this die, which is great if you want a circle as well. You can use it for lots of things. And I will just die cut that. So this is perfect, like I said, for the upcoming season of the World Cup. And of course, if you're a big fan of your local team, then it's great for all those families that love football, for birthday cards, congratulation cards, whatever. So that gives you that one. An alternative is you've got a die that will cut the black out, and then you can use a circle punch to mat it onto. So this one I'm going to put in the net, and this one I think I will just, shall I put some, no, I think I'm going to just put seal on it, because I don't want to bulk it out so that you can't post it. So we'll put that in the net. Quite a big ball for this net, so the smaller one you might find better. But I just thought it was nice to stamp one. And then I've also got this sentiment here, which says goal, which I will stamp on the bottom of this piece. And then I'll use my trimmer to just cut that. And because I've got a little bit of space at the end, I'm going to use my snips. Just put a little cut up the centre, and then come in from the point to that point, and over there. So I've got a little banner. Oops. And that I can put up there. Now this I will put on some dimensional, certainly at the one end, because it will just lift it slightly and give it a bit of a 3D effect. I'll just get my, actually, there we go, last pieces. So I can use that in there. Let's give it a try and put the whole thing on. Didn't put that on very well. Do you do that? Just stick it on and think, oh no, it's going over the edge. Sometimes you can peel it off okay. And we'll just put that up there. And then the card will stand on somebody's mantelpiece, and it's perfect for the football fan with your own personal message on the back. There we go. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you like this set if you're a football fan or a fan of a football fan. It's got lots of potential and you can do lots of things with it. Take care. Bye-bye.